You're sitting at your desk on a random Tuesday afternoon. Maybe it's 2 p.m. You're in the middle of a meeting you didn't need to be in, or answering an email you've answered 100 times. And out of nowhere, this thought just floats into your head. What if I just didn't have to do this anymore? Not retire at 65, not grind for 40 more years. Just what if there was actually a number? A specific dollar amount sitting in an account somewhere that meant you never had to work again unless you wanted to. Most people think that number is impossibly huge, like lottery winner huge, multi-millionaire huge. But here's the thing. It's probably a lot more achievable than you've been told. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate your number and the realistic path to get there. My name is Alex. If you've ever had that Tuesday afternoon thought, hit subscribe and stay with me. This is going to change how you see money. Here's what most people think financial freedom looks like. They imagine some huge, vague pile of money, $10 million, $20 million, whatever number feels impossibly far away. And because it feels impossible, they never actually try to calculate it. They just assume it's not for them. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is that nobody ever sat you down and explained the actual math. Think about it this way. Imagine you're trying to fill a bathtub, but you have no idea how big the tub is. You just know water's expensive and you don't have much of it. So you never even turn on the tap. You just assume you can't afford a full bath. That's exactly what most people do with retirement math. They skip straight to "I can't afford it" without ever measuring the tub. Financial freedom isn't about having an infinite pile of money. It's about having enough invested that your money earns more each year than you spend. That's it. That's the whole secret. And once you understand that, the number stops being scary and starts being a target. Let me give you one number that changes everything. 25. Financial planners and researchers have studied this for decades, and the most battle-tested rule in personal finance is called the 25x rule. Here's how it works. Take your annual living expenses, how much you actually spend in a year, and multiply it by 25. That's your financial freedom number. So if you spend $40,000 a year, your number is $1 million. If you spend $60,000 a year, your number is $1.5 million. And if you live lean, say $30,000 a year, your number is just $750,000. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A person who never invests a single dollar at zero, forever. But someone who invests $500 a month starting at 28, earning the S&P 500's historical average of about 10% annually, after 25 years, they have roughly $590,000. After 30 years, over $1 million. Same starting point. One person has zero. The other has financial freedom. The only difference is the system they built in their 20s. And this isn't just theory. The Trinity study from Trinity University, one of the most cited pieces of research in personal finance, backs up exactly this framework. Step 1. Calculate your actual number. Before you can build toward anything, you need to know what you're building toward. So the first thing you do today is figure out your annual spending. Not what you think you spend, what you actually spend. Open your bank statements and add up the last 3 months of expenses. Multiply by 4. That's your yearly number. Then multiply that by 25. Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it. Here's why this matters psychologically. A vague goal has no finish line. Your brain can't work toward "be rich someday," but it absolutely can work toward $875,000. The moment you name the number, it becomes real, and real things can be planned for. Step 2. Protect the 4% rule. Once you reach your number and stop working, how do you make sure the money doesn't run out? This is what scares most beginners. The answer is the 4% rule. If you withdraw only 4% of your portfolio each year, history shows your money should last 30 years or more, even accounting for market downturns. So if you have $1 million invested, you can spend $40,000 a year, every year, without running out. Your action step today is to run this check on your number. Take your target portfolio, multiply by 0.04, and ask yourself, can I live on that? If yes, your goal is confirmed.
If no, you either need a higher number or a lower lifestyle. Both are valid, but now you know. Step 3. Start investing in the right vehicle. Most people keep their savings in a bank account earning 0.5% interest. That is not investing. That is slowly losing to inflation. Your financial freedom number requires your money to grow. And for most beginners, the simplest and most proven way to do that is a low-cost index fund tracking the S&P 500. You're not picking stocks. You're buying a tiny slice of the 500 biggest companies in America. Warren Buffett, yes, that Warren Buffett, has publicly said that for most investors, a low-cost S&P 500 index fund will beat most professional money managers over time. Open a Roth IRA or a brokerage account today. Set up an automatic contribution, even $100 a month. The habit matters more than the amount right now. Step 4. Widen the gap aggressively. Here's what separates people who hit their number in 15 years from people who hit it in 30 years. The gap between what they earn and what they spend. Every dollar you don't spend is a dollar that goes to work for you. But here's the thing. Cutting expenses has a floor. You can only cut so much. Income has no ceiling. So your action here is twofold. First, look at your 3 biggest expenses, usually housing, transportation, and food, and ask if there's one lever you can pull. Not everything, just one. Second, start thinking about your income as a moving target, a raise, a skill upgrade, a side project. Increasing your income by $10,000 a year and investing the difference gets you to your number years faster. The math is not small. Step 5. Never touch the machine. This is the step that sounds obvious, but is the hardest in practice. Once your money is invested, leave it alone. Markets drop, news gets scary, your friends panic sell, and every instinct in your body screams, do something. Don't. The single biggest destroyer of long-term wealth is not bad investments. It's good investors making emotional decisions at bad moments. Your action step is to set up your automatic contributions and then make it slightly inconvenient to withdraw. Don't have the app on your home screen. Don't check it every day. Build distance between your emotions and your portfolio. The investors who build real wealth are almost always boring. They set the system, they ignore the noise, and they let time do the heavy lifting. I want to tell you about a friend of mine. I'll call him Marcus. Marcus was 29, working a decent corporate job in Austin, making around $72,000 a year. Good enough salary, nice apartment, nice life on the surface. But every time someone mentioned retirement or investing, he'd kind of laugh it off, like, that's for later. I'll figure it out when I'm more settled, when I make more money, when things calm down. The thing is, things never really calm down. There was always a reason to wait. A car issue, a move, a new expense. The goalpost kept shifting. Then one afternoon, he did the math, actually did it for the first time, and realized that if he kept waiting, he'd be 67 years old and still dependent on a paycheck. That hit him differently than he expected. He didn't overhaul his whole life, he just opened a Roth IRA that night, started with $200 a month, increased it to $400 6 months later after a small raise. 3 years on, he's got over $15,000 invested, and a number, a real, written down number on his bathroom mirror. He told me something recently that stuck with me. He said, I don't feel rich, but I feel like I'm no longer just hoping things work out. That's the shift, not the balance, the feeling of direction. So here's what we covered. Step 1, calculate your actual number using the 25x rule. Name the target. Step 2, understand the 4% rule so you know how to live off your investments without running out. Step 3, open an investment account and start automatically putting money into a low-cost index fund. Today, not someday. Step 4, widen the gap. Cut one big expense and keep growing your income. Step 5, build the system and leave it alone. Boring wins. None of this requires a financial degree. None of it requires a huge income. It just requires you to stop treating your financial future like something that will sort itself out eventually. Because here's the truth, that Tuesday afternoon feeling, that thought of what if I didn't have to do this anymore, that feeling is actually telling you something. It's not laziness, it's direction. Hit subscribe if this helped, and tell me in the comments what's your current financial freedom number, even just a rough guess. I want to see where people are starting from. This content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.